And welcome tonight. We have a power pack show for you guys. Let me get on here and make sure we get this pulled up. I've got a lot of screenshots to show you guys. We're going to go for probably about an hour to maybe an hour and a half tonight. I don't want to make it too long. Let's pull this up here. Make sure you guys are all on board. Thanks for showing up tonight, you guys. It's pulled up. We got a lot. And we'll make sure that you guys can make sure our sound is good. Get a couple of you guys in here and we'll go ahead and get started, you guys. I've got an additional, let's see, let's add Kim Smallwood as a moderator. Let's see here. See if this works for us. 81 is that weird symbol that you have on here, Kim. Oh, brother. Oh, there it is. Kim. Sorry, guys. Let's see if that works. Man. Let's see here. Kim wanted me to make her a moderator, so we're trying to do that now before we get started, you guys. And then we'll go ahead and get started. Got a power pack night. We're going to also cover Captain EO. We're going to cover some 2009 films. We're also going to cover Avatar and Mr. Nobody, 2 films from 2009. Let's try this again. Kim Smallwood. Oh, maybe we take that off of there. Maybe that'll work. Nope. All right, we're going to have to deal with that later. Let's go ahead and get started. Hey, everyone, let's give some shout-outs. Kim, thanks for coming in. Adopt, Don't Shop, The Sling and the Stone. And we have Mr. I'm going to make bad videos about Casey. And that's what I had to deal with, which is why I'm late today. I just filed a copyright strike against this man for, I'm not even going to mention his name, for basically doing hit videos on me. So again, this is a person that I've helped in the past to get subscribers and followers, and you turn around and stab me in the back. So we're not going to deal with him tonight. And he uploaded this video just before my show just to do exactly what it did, which is delay the show. So we're not going to let him get in the way of what we're covering here. And we're going to continue on, you guys. We are in the year of 2016. And as I showed you guys before we realized this, 2016 is the year of 69. We had all kinds of 69 synchronicities happening. We had David Bowie, Alan Rickman dying at 69 years old. We have Hillary Clinton, who will be 69 if she takes the presidency. We have Donald Trump, who is 69. And I just discovered, actually someone sent this to me. This is Drake. And he was born on October 24th. Drake is the owl rapper. For those of you that aren't into rap, this is Drake. And he fits into the 69 paradigm as well. Being born on the 299th day of the year with 66 remaining, and there's your 69 again. Seems the people that are the dissenters that come to this channel to try to attack it are the ones that seem to be jealous because they are not breaking information and coming up with any new material and any new ideas. And so it's easier for them just to attack the people that are. When stuff like this slaps you in the face and no one else is discovering these things, that's when you have to wonder, why are people attacking me? And it's because they want the truth to be hidden. They don't want you to see the 9/11 story. So they picked one single thing on the t-shirt, the trident, which is a symbol of 9/11. It's the wreckage from the thing. It wasn't like a hidden thing. And I even say that on the video. There's a trident on the front because it is the wreckage from the building that people associate. And then they can go and look at my other videos and see why the trident was put on there and see all the other work we've done on the trident. We've got like 20 videos on the trident. And so, again, all that you know is people is by their fruit. So look at the people who are trying to hide the truth and discourage free thought and the truth from coming out and picking apart little things. And then look at the people that are trying to get the truth out. And I recommend that every single person in the chat tonight unsubscribe from that channel, because he just relentlessly attacks. And I don't even know why people go to his channel and watch his videos. So anyway, this is Drake, and he just came out with the new owl line. Now, this is crazy. Now, one of the subscribers came forward with this information. I didn't find this on my own. But this is OVO. And what someone said was, if you take this and mirror it downwards, it becomes 88 times 88, which I thought was pretty interesting. But more importantly, this fits in with the owl eyes in the night sky that we discovered on this channel. Hiding in plain sight in our night sky every single night at the equator are the owl eyes. Whoops, actually what we're looking for is star spin equator, stars equator panoramic time lapse. And this is what you see. And this is what's on Drake's new clothing line called OVO. This is it right here. These are the owl eyes. And he knows it. And if he doesn't know it, the people who made the clothing line know it. There's your O, there's your V, and there's your O. OVO. That's this. This is the prison we live in. This is Molech. The prison in the stars. We're stuck in this time reality. Past that is heaven. If we can get past it, there's only one way past it. So I wanted to show you guys that and how Drake fits into the 69 story as well. Let's close these up with his clothing line and his owl Molech. Now, I was looking at this video by Michael Jackson called Captain EO. And this is crazy because this came out in 1986, right about close to the halfway point to 9/11. And what I found was shocking. This is him, and they actually show him in like the center of an eye. And he's dancing, and then these guys grab him with black whips. These are like the hyaloid canal of the eye. You see the lens in the middle on the floor. Here, all these guys come up with these sticks, and they try to stab Michael Jackson. And that represents the iris around the eye, okay? So he's at the center of this eye. We saw the same thing with Chris Rock at the Oscars. He's standing on this convex lens podium circle thing at the center of the iris, and that was the stage. It was like a giant iris surrounding Chris Rock. And this is Michael Jackson. This is the same thing repeated. It's the white and the black. And here's them dancing. Here's the pyramid. This is what they were forming. Here's the eye, and here's the womb. The iris is down here. It opens and closes. The light comes in like a pyramid. And that's what Michael Jackson was forming on the floor with these individuals here. Let me show you this. Here. See how they're forming a pyramid? This is the light coming into the eye. Now he rips his shirt open and he shows the actual rainbow, okay? So this is pointing forward to the rainbow President Obama, okay? That's what all this is pointing to. I'm going to show you that right now. Here it is. This is what's on his shirt. It is the rainbow. He's got rainbow colors on his X on his shirt, okay? This is all sorcery. Here's his X, rainbow. There's a good shot of it here. No mistaking this, you guys. Remember, Obama would bring in the rainbow law of marriage, right? Of gay marriage. That was his hallmark. And this whole song is all about that, you guys. Okay, let's move on to here. This is Captain EO. Now, it's saying here that EO is from the Greek. Eos means goddess of the dawn, all right? We know that there are 2 morning stars mentioned in the Bible. One of those is not a good morning star. Now, this came out in 1986, and it, I guess, was at Disneyland, and it was like a ride. And then they had like this whole thing going on. Now, this came out on September 12th, Now I'm going to show you how this fits into the film called Mr. Nobody. Let's get to that. So many tabs pulled up here. Now, here's the film Mr. Nobody. And this nobody means, Nemo means nobody in Latin, okay? And it says here it was from Nemo, Captain Nemo. So Captain Nemo is Captain EO. You see how the N and the M are missing, but it's basically the same. And in this film, Mr. Nobody, the clock strikes 9:12, right after 9/11. I'm going to show that to you. But you see here that Captain EO released on September 12th, 9/12. So we have a 9/12 there, and we have a 9/12 in the film Mr. Nobody. Now, many of you will not remember this film. It was from 2009, and that was a pivotal year. I'm going to get into, let's see here. Let's finish up Captain EO, and then we'll get into Mr. Nobody, because there were some screenshots I wanted to show you of this. So this is it. Here's the lyrics to Captain EO. We're on a mission in the everlasting light. This is the Illuminati, the light that shines, a revelation. Now, what they're going to try to do is frame this in a way that you grab onto it and think that it's the angel of light. He will transform himself into an angel of light. Do not be deceived. Here's the more lyrics from the song in Captain EO. So long, bad times. We're going to shake it up, break it up. This is the Twin Towers falling. Okay. Remember, this release at the halfway point. 1987 was a technical halfway point, but we saw films surrounding it by a year or several months that point to it. We're sharing light brighter than the sun. Hello, good times. We're here to simulate, eliminate, and congregate and illuminate. It says it right there, illuminate. We're going to change the world, and that's the new world order. Now, watch this. Here, Michael Jackson does a dance. He's singing the song. We're going to illuminate. We're going to change the world. He's singing it to the evil dark witch, which turns into a princess. Okay. Now, why am I going over Michael Jackson right now? Because he's going to be 58, or he would have been 58 years old this year, and he was born in 1958. For those of you that are 58 watching the show, this is a special year. 58, and Michael Jackson was born in 58. They immortalized him, and they recognized this very fact at the Super Bowl. Super Bowl 50. 50 stands for the fifth age. So she turns into this witch, and of course there's all the rainbow symbology. Can you see how all this is pointing to right now? This was from 1986. Now, remember, this is all pointing to the Twin Towers as well. This is pointing to 9/11. She turns into a fairy witch, and I am pausing this because I don't want to copyright strike you guys. He turns around, and look, there's Obama replacing the white. He stands right in front of her. He profiles her. There was the white lady and the black man. He's in front. This is foreshadowing the coming Obama and 9/11, because watch this. The dark pillars turn into white pillars. These are the Twin Towers. It went from this. Let's see. Let's pull this up here. He shoots her. Let's do this here. This is her before. I don't want to focus on that too long because it's pretty demonic and evil. And let's see here. Where are the towers? Here they are. See these towers? Boom. Transform into the white pillars. That's your new Freedom Tower. The rainbow, right? The rainbow prism is the Freedom Tower. The new One World Trade Center is the new rainbow prism, the Freedom Tower. It's all right here, you guys. They were foreshadowing it in 1986. The halfway point to 9/11. Obama takes over. Michael Jackson died the same year Obama took the presidency in 2009. And those are the films we're going to cover tonight. I wanted to show you this and show you the sorcery of what they're doing. Why do we cover this stuff? I'll say it again. It's not because we like it. We're covering it because these are all the stuff that you guys take your kids to see at Disneyland and all this. I'm showing you these things so you understand the sorcery that is happening right under your noses. And hopefully you stop taking your children to see these things. And hopefully you stop wandering after the beast and liking this stuff, no matter how talented, how gifted these people are. I'm showing you their fruit, okay? I'm showing it to you before your eyes. Let's go back here. I think we got Michael Jackson covered. Oh, before he breaks out of the iris, right? Because these guys that are surrounding him with these sticks, right here, they're all surrounding him and pointing sticks at him, and it looks just like an iris, okay? Here's the eye, like we just said. But before all this happens, before he breaks free from these guys, he has his little guy hit the piano key. The piano key is the key that gives Michael Jackson his power. And we all know that a piano has 88 keys on it. We all know that a piano has 88 keys on it. And we also know that Michael Jackson died 88 days after the 88th day of the year. He died on June 25th, 88 days after the 88th day of the year. And we know that Obama was born 88 days before Halloween. So do you see how they're all linked in together through the 88, which overlays the World Trade Center story as well, the 88s. And I've shown that on my channel. So I wanted to show you that. As soon as this creature hits the piano key, Michael Jackson gets his power, right? He breaks the iris apart. This is the oculus, breaks it apart, and he gets his powers. And he's trying to fight the darkness, but really both of these are evil. The dark and the light is not the answer, because that's the paradigm that they're creating, you guys. See how his light is everybody be free, sexual freedom, do what you want. He's got the rainbow on his shirt. Are you seeing the sorcery now? And that's where we're at right now in this history. Legalized gay marriage, everybody leave everybody alone, let them do what they want. It's all about love. You can be a transsexual if you want. You can be whatever you want. That's what we're dealing with right now, you guys. All right, what do we have here? Kim, I tried to make you a moderator. Let's see here. Maybe we can do that here. Oh, maybe we could just do this. Set as user moderator. Right on. Okay, girl. You're rolling. You can help me out with any trolls that come in here. And you'll be a moderator on all the shows now because I think it saves it. All right, let's continue. All right, so we got that. Let's get into some of these 2009 films, you guys. 2009 was the Hebrew year 5769. I'll say that one more time. The year 2009 was the Hebrew year 5769, and it's pointing forward to this year, which is also a 69 year, based on these calendars, the different calendars. The Ab Urbe Condita calendar this year is 69. We have the Assyrian calendar with 3 6s in it. And remember, 6 is 9. You can always swap the 6s for 9s. We have the Berber calendar at 2966. So we are in the year of 69. Now, this is the crazy thing. I'm actually going to show you that these 2009 films are pointing to this current 69 year of 2016. I'm going to show that to you. And it's going to blow you away. Now, this is Pope Gregory VIII. And he developed the Gregorian calendar. Now, I was looking at Gregorian calendar. It's our current calendar that we use right now. And I said, someone had mentioned that Gregori are the watchers. So maybe they developed this calendar for these very last days, knowing that they would be using the calendars and overlaying these calendars. You see, Gregori. I believe Gregori really means Gregorian. I wanted to show you guys that. Now, before we get into these 2009 films, I do need to finish up Ascension. This was the science fiction show that came out in 2014. This is it here. It was all about a ragtag crew that launched They're launched their rocket into outer space in 1963. Here are some of the stars from this show. Crew of 600 people were placed aboard a spaceship and sent to a planet in another star system. The idea was that the last remnant of humanity would be preserved in the event of a thermonuclear war. They used the word remnant. And the reason why I'm bringing this up, you guys, is because this is the starship, but it's all a facade. None of it's real. They're in some hangar somewhere, and it's all a simulation to see if man can actually survive in a 100-year journey to the next star. And so outside, these people are monitoring them. But what you're going to notice here is all the symbols of the eye that we've covered on this channel are in this film. And this is what just blew me away. It's actually a 6-part series. Let me pull this back over here. Let's find that. Here it is. Now I'm going to show you this because this is some of the most profound truth that is available right now. Okay, no one else is covering this kind of stuff. Let's put that here. Okay, I showed you guys this image. This is the womb. This is the child in the womb. This faint line that you see here is the hyaloid canal. The child has an umbilical cord which attaches the child to the mother. But the hyaloid canal is our path, the narrow gate back to heaven. It's our narrow gate back to heaven. That's why it's on the crown. This is like the halo of the child and the narrow gate. There's always a path back to God, but you have to be born into sin and live in this life to ever discover the narrow gate back to God. Now, this hyaloid canal carries a blood vessel that touches the lens of your eye. And when it actually provides nourishment while the child is in the womb. As soon as the child is born, this hyaloid canal atrophies and the vein or the artery shrivels up and a remnant is left. Those are the exact words in Wikipedia of the description of this hyaloid canal. A remnant is left. So now when we overlay that knowledge with this show about a remnant, which I just described to you from their article, remnant of people, now you begin to see the imagery for what it is. Okay, here's the eye, here's your eye. This is it right here, you guys. Make no mistake. What they did is they projected the stars, just like the stars are projected on our firmament, all along the wall, the retinal lining of the eye. This is your firmament with all the stars embedded in it, and this lens is our Earth. This is the convex lens Earth. This is where we live, okay? Right here, boom. God encoded the truth within us. Now watch this. Remnant left Earth in 1963 on a 100-year journey to get to the next star, but remember, none of it's real. And that's the sorcery. They're trying to basically make you feel like once we all discover this, because I'm discovering it right now, they want you to believe that none of this is real. And that's not really the truth, okay? It's real, but heaven's outside of this. But see how they invert everything. Here's your hyaloid canal. They didn't put it inside. They put it here like where the optic nerve would be, okay? And this is the only link to the outside world, but none of these people in here that are living in this rocket know what's going on outside. They just don't know. And then this show was crazy. There's like mad scientists out here and they're running this experiment, but then there's some sympathizers out here too that want these people all to be free and them to know the truth. But the sympathizers lose because the mad scientists have all the money and all the power. So that's the video I showed you where the girl gets shot in the face because the whole thing was a honey trap. Now watch this. This is crazy. Let's see here. Let's pull this up. Where is it? Now, this is our Earth as I told you. Let's see. Let's go back here. This is the Earth in the eye. This is the rocket ship. What they did is they took the lens and they just projected it up into a rocket ship. That's all they did. Because they couldn't make it that obvious, right? They couldn't put like the rocket ship down here because we'd all be going, gosh, that looks just like an eye. Instead, they shrouded it in this little thing here. You got the firmament. These are the stars. And that's all these people see. They think they're in outer space, but they're really not. It's like a giant movie screen, like a giant dome. But yeah, as you can see, it comes up from the bottom too, because there's some people that live in the bottom, so it's like all projected inside. This is your optic nerve or your hyaloid canal. This is the narrow gate to get out of this. Now, there's a certain part of this where one of the astronauts inside, he gets to the outer wall that no one's ever been to before. He's not outside, but he's right near it, and he takes a wrench and he bangs on the wall. He starts banging on the wall, and it echoes inside this chamber, and it reverberates back. And he gets a little clue that there's something else out there. Well, we've been hearing all these crazy banging noises, haven't we? Do you think that's an accident? Do you think that's an accident? I don't know. I'm starting to wonder if some of these sounds aren't like the trumpets from the book of Revelation going off, signaling us that the end is near. But will anybody believe it? Even when faced with a miracle? I mean, Jesus Christ performed miracles on this earth in plain sight, and people still crucified him. So some people are going to have to learn a very, very hard lesson. So here's the starts of the film. Now, as I told you guys, let's see here. Let's pull this up. Let's see here. Here's another clip from the bottom of the ship here. Got that one covered. What else we got here? Now, this is the little girl. She's kind of like the prodigy in the film. This is her Twitter page. And she, quote, says, "He was death, the skull under the skin. I've seen him before." This is a quote from this girl in the actual series of Ascension, okay? Now, why did I call this out? Well, the skull is Golgotha, where Christ was crucified. But you see how the skull is actually the prison. That is the prison, okay, is death. The wages of sin is death. But through Christ, we are free. This is the pineal position. We covered this on a last video, okay? So that's where we're at with this, you guys. They're mixing the truth with the lie. They're trying to make it seem like the outside part is the evil. No, we have to escape this prison, you guys. But you don't have to go anywhere to escape it. You don't have to hop on a spaceship. In fact, Christ says, do not go here nor there. He comes for us, okay? So this whole thing about finding other worlds in case a meteor comes and all this, this is all blasphemy. It's them trying to escape death because they know what they've done. They know they've deceived us. Now, this is a screenshot from the series. The guy opens a book. So I looked on here and I'm like, who's Raymond Chandler? So I look up Raymond Chandler. This, again, this is one of their little funny things that they put in here to show that they know what they're doing, but we don't. He was born in 1888. This is the year the movie camera was actually invented as well. Not the movie camera. The regular Kodak camera was invented in 1888 as well. So they know what the 88s mean, okay? So I wanted to show you guys that part of it as well. Let's close that up. I took a picture of this because this is an astrolabe from Columbus, and they carry it around. But really what this is a bulla proxita. It's a charm used in the Liberalia festival for boys that come of age at age 14. And it's to ward off evil spirits, because you can see it's got a necklace on there. So I did a video on the bulla proxita and the Liberalia ancient Roman festival. So they worked that into the script somehow as well. The guy even says, when I remember when I was 14 and I couldn't accept that I was living in a prison, because a lot of these people are born and will die on the mission. And that's what they have to contend with psychologically, that some of them will never see the new star. But none of them are really going to New Star anyway, because it's all a scam, you see. So I wanted to take a picture of that as well. All right, let's shut some of these down, you guys. I'm going to pop in the chat. Make sure you guys are good. There were 70 scientists on the mission that were abducted in the 1960s in the Ascension miniseries. Why did I bring that up? Because there's, and you'll see when I play this, I'm going to play this little clip here from the film Mr. Nobody. They talk about 70 years old. And I believe that this is the 70-year prophecy or 70 generation prophecy that everybody's been talking about that seems to land on this year, once again pointing to 2016. So we have the 70 scientists in the Ascension series, and then we have 70 years old in the Mr. Nobody film, or he said 70 years ago, and I'll show you that in a minute. Let's see here. Let's close this. We got Ascension cover. Let's take a look here. Now, this episode of Ascension is 43 minutes long, and you're going to see the mirror of that as well in the Mr. Nobody, which is 34. He's 34 years old. Now, what's Mr. Nobody? Why do I keep talking about this? This is the film Mr. Nobody. And this film released on September 12th. This is the same day that Captain EO went live. And remember, Captain EO is Captain Nemo. It's the same thing. And you got these two pieces of cinema, 1986 and 2009, but yet they've got the same dates and the same elements. And in this film, this guy, Mr. Nobody, his name is Nemo Nobody. He's a 117-year-old man. They put 118 here, but he's actually 117. And he basically has to live for another few years so that he can be the oldest man of real flesh left on the planet. Everyone else has been assimilated into these bodies that live forever. Okay? It's 2092. And of course, 17 plus 17 is 34. So now you know why they show Nemo at 34 years old as an adult, at 15 years old, and at 9. The 34 is half this, as is 17 times 2. Now what's up with this 17 number? Let's take a look. 17 is the 7th prime number. That's building 7. I was on an interview with Groom77 earlier today, and he said that there were 17 sins against Christ, I think is what he said. And he asked me what the number 17 meant. I said, well, 17 is the 7th prime number. That's what building 7 was all about. Building 7 was the Christ. It represented Christ in the World Trade Center story. The two pillars, the two towers were the two thieves at the right and left of Christ. Okay. And they were basically building their own church in their image in denial of Christ and his church is what they're trying to do here on earth, because they rule this world. So they have all the same symbols, but they just reverse everything and they make it evil. So it's like the dark side of everything. Now here's the 117 number. This is how old Mr. Nobody was as he thinks back towards the part of his life all throughout the years. And they're interviewing him, and he's like a celebrity because he's the oldest man of flesh left on the planet, right? And it's all this futuristic landscape. And he's recounting his entire life. And so when I looked at this number, 117, because I knew it was important, I came to realize that there's some pretty interesting things about the number 117. The fact that it is exact halfway point in the Bible. Psalms 117. Now, when we get into this film, you're going to see that Mr. Nobody is all about time hitting its halfway point and then reversing. Time goes backwards. Now watch this. So that fits in perfect to Psalm 117 because it's the exact middle chapter. Okay. So this is what they're getting at, you guys. Watch this. Let's see here. Let's see if there's anything else about the number 17. That I was going to call out here. I think that was it for that. Okay, there's the t-shirt. Got Captain EO covered. There's a September 12th for Captain EO, the same date. in 2009 that Mr. Nobody released. See that? Now, let's see. How many years separate that? 89, 99, 2000. This is 20 years. Exactly 20 years between both of these, okay? 2020 vision. Now, someone asked me about Michael Jackson and why he put in what, when he put the baby out the window, what that meant, okay? The balcony. Remember Michael Jackson put the baby out the balcony window? Well, that happened in 2002 on November 20th. So that's 2002, right? 2002. So guess what? There's your 2020 vision. It's a 20 mirror. 2002 is 20 and 20 in a mirror, sticking a mirror right in between those two numbers. Okay. And guess what? He stuck his son through a mirror or a window, right? That's the window through which he put the child in mirror. And what do windows do? They're mirrors. So that's what all that meant. These people are high-level sorcerers, okay? And even if they don't know exactly what's happening, they're told how to script out and play out their life. Someone probably told him to stick his baby out the window, even if he didn't know that that's what he was supposed to do, all right? And that's how this stuff manifests in this reality. So that's what that was all about. It was a mirror. 11/20/02, 2002 is a mirror. And he stuck the baby out a mirror. Okay. Let's see what else here. Let's close that. We got Captain EO covered. The rainbow agenda. Remember, they had the One World Trade Center with the rainbow that appeared. Let's pull that up. Rainbow One World Trade Center. I think this appeared on 9/11, you guys. Here it is here. Rainbow appeared. It seemed to hit the One World Trade Center. Oh, here's the 88 LED lights. Okay. They know what the 88s mean, you guys. Here it is here. The rainbow that hit the One World Freedom Tower. Let's see what day that happened in. I think it was on 9/11, which people thought it was a miracle. It says, yep, September 10th, one day before the 14th anniversary of the 9/11 terrorist attacks. So we are post halfway to 9/11. Remember, it was 14 years to 9/11 in 1987. And now we're 14 years post 9/11, okay? I actually show that on this t-shirt. Here's the 9/11 t-shirt. The 28 years. Building 7 open at the exact halfway point. All right, what else we have here? Let's close this. All right, let's get into, I should probably check in with you guys, huh? Oh, wait. Okay, many of you saw the video that I did. Let's pull this up here. On Lavoy Finicum. Lavoy Finicum in the film Ascension. This is Lavoy Finicum. Why? This is the actress that got shot in the eye. Remember, they said Lavoy got shot in the face. They were both carrying the exact same alleged weapon, a 9mm Ruger. Okay, both depicted. And this is Lavoy Finicum's birthday, January 27th, and this is her birthday, June 19th. When you look at the difference of these two dates, it's 144 days. Okay, she is Lavoy Finicum. Now, how did I find that? I listened to the Holy Spirit, you guys. He wants all this truth revealed so you guys don't fall for the deception. Why is this 44 number important? Because that's the parallel that Lavoy Finicum was shot at. He was shot on the 44th parallel. And guess what? He talked about crossing the Rubicon a few weeks before he died. And guess what parallel the Rubicon is at? It's at the 44th parallel as well, just in a different part of the world. You think that's an accident? And that in this episode, a man talks about crossing the Rubicon in this episode of Ascension? And that the man that talked about crossing the Rubicon was 44 years old, one day before they started filming? And this girl was 33 years old when they started filming. None of this is accidents, you guys. It's all God wanting you to see the matrix for what it is. I wanted to show you that real quick. I need to go back in the chat here. You guys can look this back over. you know, when this is over, please share this. Let's refresh this. Check the chat, make sure everybody's good. Here comes the train. And all right, let's see here. I'm just in here in the chat, make sure you guys are good to go. And then we'll get into the last part of the hangout tonight. All right, let's see here. Book of Daniel 7. Yes, the 70th week, end times prophecy. Yes, that's what it is. And a lot of people, I've been hearing a lot of chatter about this over the last couple weeks about this 70 thing. So it was kind of interesting for me to see the 70 pop up with the 70 scientists missing in the Ascension, which was in 2014. And I saw the 70 mentioned again in the movie Mr. Nobody, which was one of the top films of 2009, which was the Hebrew year 5769. Okay, let's get over into what I have pulled up for you guys here. Let's see here. This is it. I just pretty much put together an edited video. And let's try to see if we can make this work. So this is Mr. Nobody, the epic film from 2009, Hebrew year 5769. Obama was elected that year and Michael Jackson died. Let's take a look at this. Now, here's from the film. Here's a screenshot. The two are laying down. Here's the obvious 69 reference here. Obvious, you guys. It's so obvious it hurts, okay? That's 69 right there. Now, to everyone else in the reality in the year 2009, nobody knew it was the year 69. They didn't know it was a Hebrew year 5769. Nobody knew that. But I'm showing it to you because hindsight is 2020. What do we have next here?
And then above the baby birds pass a form simulating a goose in flight. The birds stretch their necks and call out. But if we invert the direction of the silhouette.
Now, what he's talking about here is a silhouette of a geese and baby chicks. And that when you fly it one way, it looks like a geese. But when you reverse it and fly it the other way, it looks like a hawk.
Conjures the shape of a falcon. The response of the baby birds is immediate.
The response of the baby birds is immediate. And it says here that the black-white, this is the black-white paradigm, you guys. It's the red and blue pill. Okay, the chicks respond one way, but then the other way, they respond a different way. It evokes an emotional response. This is what they do to us with politics. The red versus the blue, the Democrats versus Republican, immigrant versus native, white versus black on the chessboard, which is 8x8, of course. And he talks about there being triggered an innate inherited response that the chicks have inside of them. That how could they know that a hawk would make them fly, that would make them scared? And then he begs the question. He says, you know, what's our fears? Where do our fears come from? What kind of genetic encoding do we have? And I believe it is our reptilian brain, innate inherited reptilian fears that are genetically encoded into our DNA. That's why most people are afraid of snakes. Let's continue.
They will crouch in fear, though they've never before seen a falcon. Without any instruction, innate fear helps them to survive. But in humans, to what ancient dangers might our innate fears correspond?
To what ancient dangers might our innate fears correspond? Okay, and that's where I just answered that for you. It's the reptilian inside of us. That's why people have nightmares as children before they've even ever been exposed to anything scary. You know, I was having nightmares as a child, as far back as I can remember. I was never shown anything scary. It was like inside of me already.
Why does a cigarette smoke never go back into the cigarette?
Now here he's talking about the whole shift, the yin to the yang. Okay, this is what they're pointing forward to. Something is going to happen. It's like the end of the world as we know it. And this is the yin and the yang, the dark and the light. And so what he's demonstrating here from the film Mr. Nobody is the shift And they're going to point forward to now. And this is the crazy part. They're going to point forward from this 2009 film all the way to present day 2016. And I'm going to show that to you in a minute. Whoops. Let's see here. Let's back that up.
Enter its phase of contraction. But what will happen? A result of entropy disorder. See the universe whose molecules spread away from each other. To what ancient dangers might our innate fears correspond? The energy of the quantum void proves too weak.
Now, I believe this is deception. I don't believe the universe is expanding. I don't believe that they got the bead on how this is going to happen. I think that this is all deception. Let's continue.
At that moment, the universe.
But they're going to make it appear as though that's the case. That might be the big deception. Listen.
First might enter its phase of contraction, the big crunch.
So what he's saying here is everything was expanding, and now it's going to hit equilibrium, and everything is going to start crunching back together. And he believes that time itself will start to crunch back together. In other words, time will start to move backwards. Now watch this.
So what will become time? Will it reverse? No one knows the answer.
He said, will it reverse? No one knows the answer.
You can hear me. What you are living now is the past. At least for me. I am you. 70 years old.
He's him 70 years ago. You see this. So there's the 70 number again in two separate films that I just happened to pick up. Okay. That means something, you guys. And he's looking at himself. Okay. So it's Mr. Nobody Nemo. And he's looking at himself. Now listen.
Everything you say, I said myself when I was young. So for this world, you don't exist. If Hannah's calculations are correct, you need to stay alive until 2092, February 12th, 5:50 a.m.
Now, February 12th, the eve of Lupercalia. Lupercalia is on February 13th, 2092. Now, here's the crazy thing. This is 5:50 or 5:52. He said 5:50 a.m. is when he had to survive till. And in the very same film, they show 9:12 on the clock. Do you see how 9:12, if you take this and you rotate this, this becomes 9:12. 9:12. 9:12. 5:52 is 9:12. There's the 6 and there's the 9. 6 is 9. I'm going to do that one more time. He says you have to stay alive till February 12th, 2092, 5:50 a.m. This is 5:52, so I added 2 minutes. The reason why I did that is because in the film, he meets his girlfriend at the train station at 9:12. The clock strikes 9:12, and he's waiting there for her for years and years, and she never comes back. And I showed you a screenshot of the actual 9:12, which was also the date that the film released on 9/12, and it's also the date that Captain EO released 20 years prior. 23 years, actually. But remember, 6 is 9. So when you take this and you take this whole clock and you shift it, this becomes 9:12. It's creepy. The 9 becomes noon. This becomes 9, and this becomes 12. So I wanted to show you guys that. Let's continue. Now I saved this part because here he's on his deathbed, and you see the lights here. There's 9 lights, 10, 11. That's 9/11. Remember, the clock always when he found his girlfriend, where he tried to meet his girlfriend at the train station, it was always at 9:12. I'll show you screenshots of that. The clock stops and time reverses when the last flesh on earth dies. And there's 9:12, you see? So it's not me adding the 2 minutes. They show it right here in the film. It was 9:12, but it was supposed to be 5:50, right? That's what he said. It was supposed to be 5:50, but I showed you the two clocks. They show the clock starting from 9:12 and going backwards. 9:12 is 5:50. Let's pull that clock up again so you guys can see this. Here's the clock. 9:12 is 5:50. 9:12 is 5:50. It's crazy. Here's the train station clock where he kept meeting his girlfriend. And this is again, this is the 69 variation of the other clock that we just showed you. They show it to us. The 69 variation of 9:12 is 5:52. Now this part, they show a bicycle is floating out in space. The space station is blown up because he's basically living multiple lives. Okay, he's living through all these multiple realities. And the explanation they give in the film is that when he was born, they forgot to tell him to be quiet about all that is and was and will be, because he says that we have that knowledge before we're born into sin, born into this world. There's no time before that. And then basically the angel forgot to tell him to be quiet, and now he knew what the future was going to be and what all the outcomes of his life were going to be, and he could actually go in between and choose different paths whenever he wanted. And that's kind of what he does in this whole movie. And in one path, he's on a trip to Mars, and they're in this like space station spaceship thing, and it gets hit by meteors and explodes, and all these bikes are floating around. Remember, the bike is the OYO. OYO. This is the owl eyes. This represents time in the night sky. We showed you the Drake at the beginning, the Drake the rapper with OVO, the clothing brand, and he's got an owl on his shirt. And I showed you how he has the 69th birthday. Okay, that's what all this is about. And the whole trip to Mars was to sprinkle the ashes of a girl that he loved that died, that he promised he would sprinkle her ashes on Mars one day. She was like a dreamer. So they show the urn in the middle of this. This is represented by death. So the urn is here. The death, time causes death. You see this? Time causes death. That's what it's saying here in this image here. Now you're wondering, how do you figure all this stuff out, Casey? Well, that's not important. I guess it is, because the Holy Spirit has bestowed it upon me to understand these things. But what's important is who takes the time to incorporate all this stuff in the movies. This doesn't come from men, mere men. Okay, you guys. These are fallen angels indoctrinating all this stuff into our film to try to deceive us. All right. And as all of you know, when we get to the end of these decodes, I tell you what the deception is so that you're not deceived. Otherwise, the sorcery would go right through your senses and you would believe what you're seeing in these films. You really would, because that's how effective they are. Let's continue on here. So it's got Mars in the backdrop. They got time going on here with the urn and death. Okay. Now I saved this one because he opens up this fortune cookie and it's backwards, because he's in the reality of time reversing. And it says leave, Nemo, but when you look at the word leave inside, the A and E form a 69. There it is right there, you guys. Hebrew year 69. Right on the back of the fortune cookie message, okay? Now, here's where it gets creepy. And this is where this 2009 film is actually pointing to now. Here's the number that Nemo's supposed to call to escape his prison, right? Everything's going backwards, and he's trying to figure out how to escape his prison. This year is the year of 58. Those people that were born in 1958 are 58 years old right now. Michael Jackson would have been 58. And look at the phone number, 123-321. This is the boom right in the middle, 58. Time going one direction and time going back the other direction. What does that mean for this year, you guys? Why are they foreshadowing something from 2009 that's pointing to 2016 this year? That is what has me wondering, okay? With all this foreshadowing, I believe a deception is coming. Do not be deceived, okay? Let's continue with this. So that's the number Nemo has to call. They tell him to go to a specific address. In case you didn't get the point, the address 12358. There's the 58 again. People that were born in 1958 are 58 years old right now. 2016. Okay. What else do we have on here? So we have Avatar. That's what we're going to look at next. Was also in this year, 2009, Hebrew year 5769. It's more yin and yang symbolism, reversal of time. Listen to this.
Everything is backwards now. Like out there is the true world, and here's the dream.
So after spending many days inside this avatar state, for those of you that don't remember the film, it's all about giving up our human bodies for alien bodies. This is a Nephilim deception, and I'm going to show that to you. But after many days of him being in this alien body, he thinks that everything's reversed. Again, this is the yin and yang, the whole yin and yang thing that they were representing throughout these films. In 2009, the Hebrew 69. The 69 is the yin and the yang. That's what 69 is. It's a yin and a yang. So I think I saved this clip to show you that this basically, they plug their hair into like the Matrix, okay? And they actually, at the end of the movie, he changes consciousness from his human body to the avatar, permanently going through the link. Now listen to this. What did she say? She said something about, oh, she was, okay, watch this.
Here's the dream. Is it possible? She must pass through the eye of Awa and return.
She must pass through the eye of Awa and return. Now, Awa is the mother goddess deity for these alien people. Awa is like Earth. She must pass through the eye of Awa. Do you see now what this is all about? Do you get it now? This is the eye right here. You must pass through the eye. You must be reborn. But they're going out into the deception. This is what deceives you. But we need to go into the narrow gate, the hyaloid canal. Okay, the narrow gate. But they're telling you to go into the alien bodies. Do you see how that works? They're telling you to go into the alien bodies, to return to the forest. Okay? And this is how they do it. They stick this thing that goes in basically into the back of your head like a pineal gland, which is where your pineal is. They hook you up, you leave your human body, and you go into an avatar body, an alien body. They're supposed to be bigger, better, and stronger, right? That was the deception of this, to romanticize the alien thing going on, okay? So I captured this screenshot of basically them being plugged into the Matrix, okay? And this is it, you guys. We're born into sin. There's only one. There's a narrow gate back to God. There's a narrow gate, and that is through Christ. This is a narrow gate, goes back to the pineal, which is your center. It's all ruled by love. Your pineal is your antenna to Christ and belief in him through the truth that you discovered inside your own anatomy. That is the love, because you realize that everything that you've been taught about Christ is true. That no man could have known the inner anatomy of the eye to this detail to write it in a book called the Bible thousands and thousands of years ago. And this is what they don't want you to know, that the kingdom of heaven is within. The truth about God is within, so that there will be no doubts, because there only is one person who could have created this and then written it into a book, you see, called the Bible. So I wanted to put that little thing together for you guys. Let's go back here in the chat, make sure we're still connected. All right. Yeah, it was on Groom's show. That was a great show. Thanks, Grooms, for having me on. Everybody go subscribe to Groom's channel, 777. He's here in the chat. And check out a little bit of my testimony. I have shared that testimony with you guys before, but I kind of repeated it with Grooms, and we had a really good discussion on some of the Bible and some of the things, you guys. So OVO, yes, thanks, KHS22. I think he was the one that gave me the information on the OVO of Drake, and he's got some information here in the chat about that. Drake exposed, and you saw his birthday, had the 69s in it. Amazing. Crazy, you guys, crazy. Crazy stuff. The crazy thing is we get all this information from the Holy Spirit. I'm just a man. I could not possibly come up with all this by myself. I could not have possibly come up with it by myself. God wants you guys to know this. The information is coming fast and furious. Hopefully you guys are getting the word out. If you can, share the link to this hangout and have as many people subscribe to this backup channel in case they try to take down my main channel. And I appreciate all the work you guys have done on these t-shirts. I think we hit our goal. I think we're pretty close. Many people got a t-shirt. This is the 9/11 one. I got an idea, you guys, upon a suggestion of Kim. Basically what I'm going to do is a tailor-made campaigns from now on for these t-shirts. For anyone who wants them, here's what I want you to do. If you don't like the selection that you're seeing, and that's the only thing holding you back from getting a t-shirt, whether it be the sizes or it's not in a girl's form, slim fit, or whatever the case may be. If you want a hoodie instead of a shirt and it's not the right color, simply send me an email, enter the stars at yahoo.com, 5T4Z, or anywhere for that matter, and send me your special request for a shirt. Exactly the way you want the shirt. I don't care what it is. I don't care if you want ribbons on top. Just tell me exactly what you want. And I'll stack those up, and I'll try to pair it up. You know, I can get 3 people on the same page. Then I'll do another campaign, and I'll launch the shirt, and then I'll let you know, and you can get the shirt. Okay? That's what we're going to do, because I know that some of the girls wanted something a little different in terms of colors. I can even do reverse. I can reverse this out into a dark color, so I can turn all these letters white and put it on a dark shirt. That's something I could do. I could put these on long sleeves, hoodies, whatever you guys want. What's important is the information gets out there. That's what I care about, you guys. All right. I want as many of you guys as possible wearing these t-shirts. Hey, fend the critics. If you already have people that have disrespected you, put the shirt on and show them. How are you going to disrespect this? This is what this is about, you guys. Standing up for the truth boldly. Oh, that's just chance. Okay. Well, then what about this? And you show them the other t-shirt. Well, that's just chance too. And then pretty soon they're going to run out of that excuse, you see. That's when things change. That's when people stop voting for these beasts, the beast system. That's when people stop investing into this sinking sand, okay? It's a place we call sinking sand, VNex. Yeah, send me an email, Callie. Like I said, you might not get the shirt right away, but what's going to happen is I'm going to stack them all up in a special folder with your requests, and I'm going to try to pair it up because I have to do at least 3 t-shirts to make a campaign. So that's what we're going to do. So send me your requests, and it's kind of like you're pre-ordering, okay? Then I'll get them together, and then I'll get them a campaign going, and then I'll notify you so you can get on and get your t-shirt. The campaigns only last for a certain amount of time. So this t-shirt campaign is it's going to be another 15 or 17 days. Oh, here we go. 18 days left. After that, the campaign will be over. Okay. So you got to get this like now. And I know that it's not good for some people to get paid on the 1st. And I'm sorry. I should have thought this out a little clearer. But I thought that these, I think about 30 people, 25 to 30 people have bought t-shirts so far. That's pretty good. Okay. And I appreciate those who stood up to make a stand for the truth. I really do appreciate you guys. Okay. Because it's a big deal. That means a lot to me. All right. So this is where it's at, you guys. Let's see. I do have another. Let's take a look here. There's the 93 t-shirt. I really like this one. Let's see here. Let's pull that up here. Teespring. And we'll go to the storefront. And let's look at the store here. So I did pull down the 44 shirt, I think. Did I pull that one down? Yeah, I think I ended this one, into this campaign. But this one here, this is the 93 shirt. This is awesome. This says everything about 93. People are asking who Natasha was. That's Obama's daughter, you guys. She's like a mirror of her dad. It's weird. Born 93 days before 9/11. You can't make this stuff up. Flight 93, the 93rd floor was hit by the plane. We had the 1993 bombing. And this goes on and on and on. That's a good shirt too. All right. So let's get back here in the chat. Make sure I covered everything, you guys. Love you guys. UFO got fired for fighting for employment. Bring up topics like these at work. Yep, that could be the reason. Hey, if you can prove that and get a lawyer, even though I don't like lawyers, you could, if you could prove discrimination of some type, then you might be able to. I actually recorded the phone conversation of my termination. I asked them if I could record the conversation, and I asked them, well, why did you fire me? And they go, well, they didn't give me a reason. They don't have to give you a reason anymore. It's nuts. I go, is there a reason why you fired? We just thought it was a decision that we wanted to make. And she was very careful about not telling me why I was fired. Okay. And so there you go. That's the world we live in, you guys. It's the world we live in. Short video with pics of us wearing the t-shirt with our state country. Yeah, when you guys get those shirts on, if you guys want to take some video and send it to me, that would be awesome. I could put together like a little montage. I could edit it together. That would be pretty cool. Okay, let me answer any questions you guys might have. Let me look, make sure I don't have any other, covered all this. Yeah, this was creepy when they got the whips out and they were whipping Michael Jackson and Captain EO. And I was like, that's the hyaloid canal. They're standing in the middle of the eye. But obviously they're in the dark eye, right? Look at this. But it turns to the good eye. See, the eyes of good and evil. This whole place turns into a palace. It was the eye of evil, and then it became the eye of good. Everything we've been talking about, you guys, and this was back in 1986. I had not seen this since I was a kid. But yet, it's everything we've discovered. Kind of creepy, huh? Let's see here. What else we got here? There's the iris, piano. All right. I think we covered pretty much everything. I don't want to leave anything out. Let's go back in here and chat with you guys for a bit. See what's going on. Oh, man. What a day. KJ and Nicholas and I say show again. Yes, we should do that. We should definitely get together and do that. You guys send KJ your ideas and let him know that this is what you want. If he hears it from enough people, we'll do a show. He and I are friends, but he's very busy and I get busy too. Gotten a lot more busy over the past year. No stickers. Do not have stickers. Let's see what else we got in here. Shout outs, Linda, Mind FK, Non-Care, Starry Days, Althea, Corey, Wendell, Q City, Hoy Bang Pang, Cali 524. Thanks, you guys. Yeah, well, those were some good shows. Those are some good shows. Bumper stickers. You might get your car keyed. I don't know. Channel Life Path TV. Much love. 77 Holy Spirit. Thanks. Take care. So now you guys see the spirit behind all this stuff. Hopefully I can demonstrate to you that all that is in the mainstream is orchestrated sorcery. If you don't remember anything else tonight, remember that I demonstrated to you that all in the mainstream that we wander after, that we admire, that we love, and that we think is entertainment is all sorcery. They don't waste anything unless it is going along the lines of their deception. Nothing. They don't waste anything. So there you go. That is what's going on. One main direction to move. Humans. Thanks, Cal. I appreciate it. Yeah, we're gonna. Okay, so from now on, we're gonna be doing. My Sunday show is always going to be now on this backup channel. Okay, that's where you guys are going to catch me at. Even though I get a little bit bigger crowd on my main channel, I need to build up this backup channel, you guys. And I do know that what is happening is when we do the live shows, for some reason, they go out to all of my subscribers, and pretty soon they're going to figure that out too, and they're going to do away with that. But for now, all of my live shows hit 3, 4, 5,000 views because they're going out to all my subscribers. But if I just upload videos, they don't go out to all my subscriber feeds. Okay. So what I'm going to, again, we got to adjust. So I'm just going to do all my shows as live shows. I'm not going to do edited videos anymore. And it's a little bit more raw, you guys. But it's more me, and you guys are actually, I think, enjoying it. I think you guys like it a little better because then you can ask questions if you don't understand something, and I can go back over it a couple times, right? And so I think it's actually better. Do you see how God works everything to his glory, even when roadblocks are put in place, and that the rule is love? So if we just keep loving harder and harder and harder, the doors keep opening and expanding and growing, and the enemy cannot stop us. That is what's going on, you guys. That's what's going on. And so as we readjust based on the adversary trying to throw up roadblocks, then all of a sudden, all these new doors open and exponentially it takes over. And so they cannot win. What's in question is the will. Do I have the will to keep doing this? Do I have the love in my heart to keep reflecting the love of Christ to you guys and caring about just that one more person that just might get it, that might get through the narrow gate? That is the question. And I had a bad day the other day. I had a really bad day. And I said, this isn't about me. And right now, I have a warm place to sleep and food in my stomach. So right now, I'm okay. And if I could go one more day and not worry about how I'm going to pay my rent, then, and if one more soul could be saved, then it doesn't matter where I am, because my reward is in heaven. It doesn't matter about today for me anymore. I kind of already lived my life, you guys. I already raised my family. I already chased girls, and I already, did all that stuff. I went to school. I had a career. And now it's like I just see that all, the whole career thing was just fruitless. It was just fruitless. Because, it's like we're on a stationary bike in life. It's designed that way. It's designed to only let the people who sell out get to the top. That's how it's designed. Make no mistake. I know many of you are, thinking about law school and stuff like that. Okay. I had a college degree. You know what I was told when I graduated from college? You need to go work for a black employer. You know how that made me feel? I just got a college degree in a bachelor science program. I earned it. And my professor told me I needed to go work for a black employer. So you see, it doesn't matter how far you get in life. There's always going to be someone stepping on you. Always. And that was the beginning of me realizing this whole fight is kind of for nothing. This whole, I'm going to make $1 million and all this, who cares? Because then you end up having to sell out at a certain point anyway. Sold pharmaceuticals for 10 years, poisoning thousands of people. And I had to go to God with that. Sold out. Right? That's why I speak out against it now. So I'm just talking, you guys. So now what do? We try to help other people who are going through that. Help other people. You know, the worst thing I hear in the world is when I hear someone tell me, I have a 10-year plan and I'm going to make $1 million and I'm going to do this and I'm going to have this car and I'm going to have this home at this place and this job and I'm going to spend $200,000 on my education. That is the saddest person I've ever heard, because they have no idea what they're getting themselves into. They're stabbing their body all over with many pains. Okay. And it's the opposite of who Christ was. Christ didn't talk about those things. Yes, I'm Starry Days. Yes, I'm African American. Man, I'm part Cherokee, part Irish, Black, and Jamaican. But I grew up in a white neighborhood, well, actually Hispanic and white neighborhood. And so my environment kind of shaped my personality. I remember going to my dad's in the summer in Sacramento, which is predominantly black in some areas. And I just didn't fit in. One night I was walking to my neighbor's house and these guys pulled up in a white El Camino and tried to run me over. They told me I wasn't supposed to be out after dark. And they chased me through the park and I had to hop 3 fences and was hiding under a bush. So so that's my experience with folks from my own backyard, okay, that almost killed me because I was out after dark in their neighborhood, okay? So it doesn't matter. Color is an illusion, okay? It's economics. That's in all that is the serpent seed. He divides us through money, economics, the people that know and the people that don't, the people who have knowledge and the people that don't, okay? Most of us are in this cattle stage or this cattle existence where we don't hardly know anything. Even the people that think they know everything, they're like the dumbest ones because they know what they've been taught, which is the lie, and they think they know it so well and they live that lie instead of opening their eyes and seeing the matrix, the prison around them. Okay. The educated people are the stupidest ones. At least the people that don't have an education can see things for what they are and form their own. You know, I used to think people that didn't vote were idiots. That's how I used to think. I was a Republican. I listened to Rush Limbaugh when I was in my stupid pharmaceutical car, driving around poisoning people. Listening to Rush Limbaugh basically make me angry at Democrats. That's what he did. He made me angry at Democrats. Half the people in our society I didn't like just because Rush Limbaugh. You see the black-white paradigm. Let's make us hate each other so that they have control. That's what's going on, you guys. Let's make us hate each other. And I finally turned it off. And I realized the game. I realized what was happening. I was being fed a pill, a blue pill. And I was taking it and believing it and wanting to go to war and wanting to kill Arabs and believing terrorism was real and all those things. You know, listen, obviously Rush has a talent, but they use that talent. He might not even know what he's doing, but he's beating the drum that divides America. It's what he's doing. I used to love Rush too. I used to love the band Rush too. And then, you wake up and you realize now I would never vote. You couldn't catch me dead in a voting line because I'm giving my consent to be deceived. But back then, I didn't understand why people didn't care about politics. I'm like, you have to make a difference. If you want to make a difference, you got to vote. It's all BS, you guys. It's all BS. Here's how you make a change. What we're doing right now, sharing this video, getting it out to people so they can understand the truth. You understanding the truth, not being a slave to materialism and wanting riches, not being a slave to the paradigms that they've created for you, thinking for yourself. Okay, not being a slave to the paradigm of even religion, which locks you into this system of sleepiness and catatonic state of spirituality that's not the real, true, powerful spirituality that you're going to experience by searching deeper and finding more answers for yourself. You see, that's the difference. And my love now for Christ is tenfold than it was when I was sitting in a pew. Okay, tenfold, if not hundredfold, because this is real. And God works directly with you to uncover truths. Look at all the truths we've uncovered on this channel about God, how our faith has been built. It's amazing. It's not about me. It's about one person standing up for the truth and giving what he has given and reflecting that to others through love and unselfishness. That's what this is about, you guys. And I hope to make other little reflectors out of you guys so you guys can reflect love and the truth and get fired up and inspired. Okay? Just to love people. That's what catches fire. Not voting for another paradigm. Catches fire is these t-shirts that show everybody the truth. So you guys, here's what, if it was up to me, not another 17-year-old boy will sign up for the military. Because 50% of Americans would see this t-shirt and go, wow, that was a big lie. And if that was a big lie, then this is probably a big lie. So we're not going to go blow up Syria for you anymore. We're not going to go blow up other countries anymore. That's the goal. That's why we'll not stop until that happens. And all the drone factories will be empty, and all the drone operators will be empty because people have seen the truth. Now, of course, that's not going to happen because the Bible says most people won't make it through the narrow gate. Most people won't. But I'm going to die trying. I'm not going down without a fight. I think more people can wake up. I really do, before Christ returns. I really do. I hope they can. I want as many people with me in paradise as possible. That's my goal. Every day I wake up, I pray for one more soul to get through the gate. Young lady came on the other day and said to me, I don't know if she's here tonight, that it was because of my channel that she came back to Christ. And that meant a lot to me, because wow. So that's what it's all about, you guys. One person at a time. And I know there's others out there who have seen the glory of God through his creation and proof that he exists within inside of you. And that might not speak up. But when one of you speaks up like that, that just, man, it just humbles me. It makes my heart full, and it gives me hope. So that's where we're at with you guys. I love you guys. I know you guys got stuff to do, getting the kids ready for school tomorrow. And I'm going to let you guys go, I think. Oh, I had one more thing. I think we covered this already. The 17 times 2 is 34. Remember that 17 is the seventh prime. This is building 7, you guys. This is why this 17 number is so important. So let's see here. You guys have any more questions before I get off here? I have a good documentary about a nun that escaped a convent called Sister Charlotte Testimony. Grapefruit Doctrine. Much love to you guys. Thanks, Wendell, Corey, Starry Days. Are the chakras bad? You guys, I haven't got into that. something about the whole serpent rising up through the chakras, it just doesn't give me a good feeling. I almost feel like it's a replacement for the pineal, which clearly we've shown has been the antenna to Christ. Okay. If I saw something in the Bible that talked about these 7 levels, and maybe there is, maybe I just haven't seen it. I don't know. But be careful, you guys. Okay. You really, the kingdom of heaven is within. And we showed that with the diagram of the brain and the eyes in the cross. You got to remember that there is such a thing as demon possession. And if you're praying to different parts of your body to get to different levels, that doesn't sound too biblical to me. Because that's what they do. Like, you're basically, to conquer each chakra, you have to focus on a certain part. I mean, I don't know. I'm a little leery about that. So I'm going to leave that on the table. Maybe we'll tear into that, but I do everything through the Holy Spirit. So if the Holy Spirit's not telling me to look into that yet, that's why I haven't looked into it, you guys. And you guys have all been on the ride. Those of you that have been here, and you've seen how the Spirit nudges us back onto the tracks. It moves us along like we're on a course. And it's weird because we almost start to see foreshadowing. Some of the stuff we talk about appears in the mainstream media days later. It's like God is like guiding us, right? And that's kind of like a miracle. It's really cool. I don't like to go off track. If I'm watching something or examining something or decoding something, it doesn't feel right, I'll turn it off. There's been dozens of films that I was started to decode and I just didn't do it. Went on to the next film. Lo and behold, I'll give you an example. We pulled up the Ascension series. Now, someone had been telling me about Ascension for like weeks. They're like, you need to look at Ascension. And I just kept it on the table because I got other stuff going on. Finally, one day, I'm like, I'm going to look at Ascension. I pull it up, and the guy's like, we're about to cross the Rubicon, the point of no return. The next day, they show the cab footage from inside the cab of Lavoy Finicum being shot. And just 2 weeks before that, he was talking about the Rubicon, crossing the Rubicon. You think these are accidents, you guys? Yeah, there is a true Sabbath. Corey's asking about the Sabbath. There is a true Sabbath, and it's all based on the lunar and solar calendars. That's how the Hebrews did their calendars, okay? And every year, I think it's supposed to be like adjusted. And our calendar, we're not following the true Sabbath of Saturday. Now, no Adventist pastor will deny that, but what they'll say is it's symbolic. But Friday sundown to Saturday sundown is not the true Sabbath. It rarely falls on that exact day, okay? Because the calendars are all messed up, okay? Now, I know about this because I used to be an Adventist. I was an Adventist for the second part of my life, from the age of 21 to 39 or so, 38, 39, I guess, when 2010 is when I stopped being Adventist. 2010, 2011. And so I understand what's going on with the Sabbath, because that's every Friday night we'd all get together and we weren't supposed to work. And so everyone had to cook all the food the night before, and then we would eat and everybody would sit around, or we would, just talk or fellowship or whatever. And then Saturday night, the Sabbath was over. Okay. But then now in digging deeper, I've talked to some people, and some people have actually sent me real calendars that actually show the real Sabbath, and it's off by several days in many instances. Okay. Now, have I followed that Sabbath calendar? I have not. I'll be honest with you. And maybe I should. Maybe that'll be one of the next steps, the Holy Spirit. The 4th commandment in the Bible is remember the Sabbath and keep it holy. It's the only one of the 10 commandments that most people don't follow. Now, what does that mean? Follow the Sabbath and keep it holy. Well, it could mean different things to different people. I think the spirit of the law is that the 10 commandments were written to the Israelites who followed a more strict regimen of following other laws, but all the other 10 commandments are supposed to be followed to the T and are applicable today. So maybe the fourth commandment should be applicable today as well. Some people will say that that law was done away with and the New Testament came in. So I don't know. I believe we should, but I think remembering the Sabbath, the day of rest, and keeping it holy is basically, I think it could be a command to the people who make the calendars to not ever forsake the calendar and change it so that it would not be remembered, which is exactly what happened now. So it's kind of not our fault that the Sabbath has not been remembered and kept holy because the calendar got changed on us. And the Bible does say they will seek to change times and laws, which is exactly what they've done. They changed the law of the Sabbath and they changed the times, the calendar. So maybe that's what all that was talking about. I don't know, you guys. Got to go to the Holy Spirit with this. Pray on it. Ask the Lord. But, I'm going to look into that because maybe there's something to that. Maybe I should be following the real Sabbath day, All right, let's look in the chat here. I'm just talking. Sorry, guys. I know you guys got stuff to do. Yeah, God knew it was going to be changed. Yes, Kim, you're absolutely right. Let's see here. Sunday, yes, Sunday is the day of the sun. That's why they worship on Sunday. Exactly. Apollo, the sun god. They united all the religions on Sunday to worship. That was the Council of Nicaea. They changed the Sabbath to Sunday. Okay, let's see here. Looking through here. A lot of conversation going on here, you guys. Good. King James edited the Bible. Grooms and I were having a discussion about the Bible, and Grooms, and I agree with him on this, that the King James is probably the closest version we have. I always take things a step further. I look at the mechanical translation, which is the direct transliteration of the words, which when you're trying to read it, it doesn't make sense unless you're comparing it against the King James Bible. It reads like this. Let's say I went to the store and the cat, and to get cat food for my cat, and also needed to pick up some dog food. Well, in the King James, it would read like that. But in the mechanical, it would read store, cat, food, eat, dog. Like that's how it would read. Okay, but here's the deal. When you have the direct transliteration, you compare it to an actual speaking version, which is like the King James. Now you get the true meaning of the word. And the word is preserved. It is, in fact, preserved. God did preserve his word. It's preserved. But translations of it are changed sometimes. You got to look at the mechanical. Let's see what else we got on here. Book of Mormon. Yeah, we're totally getting discriminated against, you guys. My recommendation is knowing what is going on with this stuff. See, if you were doing this in private and someone found out about it and they fired you, you would have a lawsuit on your hands. You could have a lawsuit. But when we bring it into work, they could categorize that as religious, and they could say that there's no place for that in the workplace. That's what they could say. All right. In my case, they found out about it. I didn't talk about it at work, and they found out about it. And so therefore, it was unlawful for them to fire me. But I fought it. I actually called a couple attorneys, but we're in California. It's a no-fault state, so they can fire you for no reason whatsoever. They don't have to give you a reason. And that's why I'm like, well, there's my answer, God. That's when I came to YouTube. And through the grace of God, there's some tough months I have where I can't quite pay my rent, but I think I'm going to be okay, And so I don't need their New World Order $60,000 a year jobs anymore. I don't need them. I'm fine living poor and living like Jesus lived, So I'm going to be okay. All right, let's see here. Yes, they're lost. Yeah, absolutely. I like the way you think. Yeah. So, okay, guys, I guess I'll let you guys go. Love you guys. And let's do this again next Sunday on this channel. And we will be back here. Take care and be safe, you guys. Much love.